All right, let's jump right in. We talk about AI like it's this brand new, almost magical force that's about to change everything. But what if we're overthinking it? What if AI is just a tool? A really, really powerful one, sure. Kind of like one of Tolkien's seeing stones, a Palantír. It can show you the world, it can show you incredible things, but what it shows and whether it becomes a force for good or for bad, well, that depends entirely on who's holding it.
And that right there, that's the core idea we're diving into. The most critical part of this whole AI revolution isn't the code, it's not the hardware, it's us. The technology is basically an oracle, right? It gives you exactly what you ask for. So the question, the quality and the intent of the question we pose to it, that's what's going to decide everything. And this comparison with the Palantir runs deeper than you might think. In the books, the seeing stones weren't evil, not on their own. They just showed truths. The problem was, those truths could be cherry-picked, framed, and used to manipulate you. The stone seduced you with the promise of knowing everything. Well, modern AI does the exact same thing, but its temptation is a little different. It's the promise of total control. So no, AI isn't born evil, but it is perfectly, absolutely corruptible.
And this reality puts us at a fork in the road. There are two paths we can take. The first one, well, that's the path of fear. It's a path where we ask AI not to solve our problems, but just to manage them, to control the chaos.
Here's a way to think about it. Let's say you have a genuine solution to an ecological problem, like using hemp for soil restoration. It's often a one-and-done kind of fix. It empowers local people, it heals the planet, and then you move on. But a fear-based approach, oh, that's way more profitable. It creates a never-ending cycle of new laws, new products, new taxes. It's a permanent business model built on managing a crisis, not actually ending it. And in that model, power stays right where it is, with large institutions, and the problem never, ever really gets solved.
And the reason to stick with that model? Well, it's a big one. The source material calls this the fear industry, this whole complex of sectors that profit from managing problems instead of solving them. And it generates over $5 trillion a year. When you have that much money on the line, that's a pretty powerful reason to keep asking the wrong questions.
So when we feed this fear, this need for control into our powerful AI, what do you think happens? If we ask, how do I control things better? The AI will go to work and give us brilliant answers. It'll spit out 1,000 new methods for surveillance, for predictive policing, for monitoring behavior. And the consequence of that is simple. It's direct. Our freedom shrinks. And this really gets to the heart of the dystopia we should actually be worried about. It's not some robot revolution, Terminator style. No, the real danger is much quieter. It's the world of Saruman from Lord of the Rings, a world where we all voluntarily trade our freedom, our messiness, our individuality for the promise of perfect safety and order. We become willing servants to the very system that's designed to control us. Okay, but that's just one path. There is another way. A much more hopeful one. And it doesn't require us to go smash the machines. It starts with something much, much simpler, but also way more radical. Just changing the question. Let's look at how this plays out with a massive issue like climate change. The question of control sounds like this. How do we tax people? How do we regulate them until they're forced to change? That frames the public as the problem to be managed. But the question of a solution sounds totally different. How do we use our collective genius to make clean energy so cheap and so accessible that it's an easier choice than coal? See the difference? One path is about punishment. The other is about innovation. And you can apply that same logic to poverty. The control question might be, how do we manage the poor to keep them quiet? But a solution-focused question is something else entirely. How do we build systems, like microcredits or support for local economies, that actually solve poverty by empowering people, not just managing them? And here is the most important part of this whole explainer. The technology is ready. AI has access to almost all of our collective data. It can run models and simulations that we can't even dream of. It can find connections we'd never see. It is ready and able to help us find these answers. The bottleneck isn't the tool, it's us. The AI is just sitting there, waiting for us to ask it a better question.
So if the question is the key, how do we build a framework to make sure the right questions get asked? How do we build some guardrails for this incredibly powerful tool? Well, that brings us to the idea of a new kind of social contract, specifically for AI. This whole idea starts by upgrading the classic rules of robotics for today's world. A proposed zeroth law puts the health of our planet, the biosphere, above everything else.
The first law gets an update. It's not just about physical harm anymore, but also about psychological manipulation. And a brand new fourth law is added. An AI has to be designed to prevent power from concentrating in the hands of a few. It must enable decentralized cooperative systems instead. So, how do you enforce rules like these? The idea isn't to use top-down punishments, but pre-agreed conditions. Think of it like a business contract. When you build or deploy an AI, you are entering a contract with society. If you break the terms of that contract, there are consequences that kick in automatically, consequences that everyone agreed on beforehand. It's all about clear accountability, not some arbitrary penalty. And this system has really clear escalating steps. A minor violation? Okay, you get a public warning. Something more serious? That leads to the system being suspended, plus fines. A severe violation, like using AI to suppress people, that means a complete ban on the system and prosecution for the people responsible. And for systematic, repeated abuse, well, the consequences are permanent, and the people behind it get treated like an organized crime operation. The whole point is to make misusing this tech incredibly, incredibly costly. So this brings us right back to where we started. We have this powerful, world-altering tool sitting in our hands, and we are standing at a crossroads with a choice to make about what we're going to do with it. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. We shouldn't waste our energy just being scared of the technology itself. The real fight, the true rebellion, is against the fearful, controlling intentions of those who get to aim the tool. Our focus has to be on holding the users accountable and on demanding better questions from the start. At the end of the day, this technology is becoming a part of all our lives. We are all, in our own way, holding the stone now. The power to shape what it shows us and what kind of future it helps us create, that power rests with us. So the real question isn't, what is AI going to do to us? The real question is, what are we going to ask of it?